Hello, my name is Andrei Krzysztofowicz. I am from Minsk. I am researching information more than 30 years. And my research is based on qualitative theory of information, whose founder was Mikhail Mazur. Modern people is surrounded by information ocean. The work of many people is tied with processing and information and creation new information. The more information becomes, the more poor quality information becomes, unfortunately. Each of us faced with such examples of poor quality information as fakes, deepfakes, post-truths, and others. Do we know how to work with information to use only high quality and valuable information for decision making, and how to create new valuable information? I have used such properties of information as quality, value, and multiplication, such forms of information as information and meta-information and structured information to get answered how to work with information. This video figuratively summarizes the main findings from the qualitative theory of information that I am developing on the issue how to work with information to have always high quality and value information. I wish you a pleasant viewing and hope for your valuable comments. How to work with information. 8 gloves for work with information from Quality Theory of Information. More detailed information on my website and on my YouTube channel, but unfortunately most of videos on this channel are in Russian. Here we can see all 8 gloves for work with information. The first glove allows us to feel what information is. What are the properties of information, its forms and structure? The next pair of gloves allows us to feel what poor quality information is and how to work with poor quality information. Abbreviation PQI will be used in the future next. And okay, how to work with PQI to get rid of it. The next glove allows us to feel the diamond of high quality information, abbreviation QI, and to see its facets. The next pair of gloves allows us to feel the question as the main tool of obtaining information. Then, having obtained information, how should we save it and how do we generate new value information? The last pair of gloves allows us to feel what the information relationships are and to consider such type of information relationships as they use information for manipulation. Information. Information has 2 main properties: value and ability to multiplication. Information has the following forms: information, meta-information, meta-meta-information, and etc. Information has the following structure. It could be useful and useless, high quality and poor quality, direct and information, generalized and detailed information, position and methodological information. In the next slides, we will consider the following issues: saving information. We will consider question as main instrument for obtaining information. We will consider counteraction to manipulation. We will consider how to get rid of poor quality information, 4 methods, and how to generate new value information, 4 ways. Poor quality information. PQI is presented by 4 types of information: pseudo-information, para-information, disinformation, and useless information. Pseudo-information is presented by 4 Pseudo-information consists of 3 kinds of information. This first kind, when we have one original, few images. Second, opposite, we have few images in one original. And third kind, when we have combination of 1 and 2 kinds of pseudo-information. Para-information also consists of 3 kinds of information. It is failed suggested, inaccurate suggested, unjustified suggested. I remember para-information, the other names of para-information, it is supposed information, suggested, or forecasted information. Disinformation consists of 4 kinds of information. It is incomplete, incorrectly generalized, second kind, fictitious, inaccurate, and WOA, it's with opposite accurate. And useless information consists of 2 kinds of information. It is excessive and irrelevant information. As I said before, detailed information about this type and describing of each kind of information on my website. There are 2 scenes of PQI existence. There are 8 possibilities of PQI arising. There are 10 reasons of PQI arising. And what is interesting, 5 intentional and 5 unintentional. And there are 4 methods for minimizing of PQI using. Let's go to the next slide. After we considered what is the poor quality information, we should consider how to work with poor quality information. And we should work, it means we should find poor quality information and to get rid of PQI. First of all, let's consider the scenes of PQI existence. There are 2 scenes of PQI existence. The first scene is simple. If there is logical contradictions among the information, you have There are PQI among information you have. It means that there are PQI among this information. The second thing is more complicated. If there are questions without answers after getting information, then you have incomplete information. However, more often there are no signs of PQI among the information received. In this case, you have to know possibilities and reason of PQI arising in order to feel is there PQI or not. There are 8 possibilities of PQI arising. First, when provided goals differ from the recipient goals. It is most often possibility and the main possibility of PQI arising. Second, lack of information verification. Third, lack of knowledge and skills to work with information. Fourth, the facts of PQI provided in the past. If there are facts of PQI provided in the past, there is high probability that this provider give you PQI information now. Fifth, impossibility of information verification. Sixth, existence of intermediate links. The regularity here is simple. The more intermediate links exist, the higher probability of PQI receiving. Seventh, lack of information, which is need to make decision or to produce new information. And eighth, lack of time to fulfill the task. The less time you give your people to fulfill the task, the worse information you will receive. The more PQI information will be among the information you will receive from these people, from your subordinator. Okay, there are 5 intentional reasons for PQI arising. First, present yourself in the best light. It is often, or we can say always, we have this when we hire the people. Second, do not harm your people. Third, harm enemies. Fourth, avoid punishment. It's also very often reason. And fifth, personal benefits, some personal benefits from PQI providing. There are also 5 unintentional reasons for PQI arising. Unintentional reasons: and not understanding what information the recipient needs. I begin with this. Inattention, lack of knowledge and skills to work with information. Incorrect bar information and intermediate link. If you, as intermediate link, received the PQI information, then you will give this information, you will send the information to your recipient. Okay, now we have considered how to work with poor quality information. Let's go to the next slide. Quality information. When you detect and get rid of PQI, you will deal with quality information. Quality information is represented by direct information, comes to the recipient from a supplier or source information directly. Poor information is originated under influence of the information received. Detailed information is not subjected to generation. And generalized information is information which the set of information is reduced to. The quality information diamond, QI diamond, sparkles with 8 facets. In other words, QI has 8 characteristics. It is clear, complete, accurate information, not fictitious information, not excessive information. First of all, it is highlighted, but I always not begin with it. I don't know why. It is, first of all, a relevant information, and information where generalized information is correct, and supposed information is correct too. Okay, let's go to the next slide. On the next slide we will consider the question as main instrument for obtaining information. First of all, it needs to ask important questions. Then it needs to make a map of important questions. Importance of the questions depends from the value of information in the answer. Map of important sorry, there is mistake in my word, but I don't think that it is awful mistake. Map of important questions. It should be based on 3 regularities of information value determination. You can read these regularities on my website. It needs to ask meta questions. I highlight 8 meta questions. I have them on my website. Here I highlight 4 of the most important ones. First, how could it be done better? Second, what is our state of affairs compared to others? Third, is the fact differs from the plan and why? Fourth, what are they thinking about this issue? To use the question as a tool for obtaining information, you need to know the type of questions. I will present here the type of questions and examples of several kinds of such type of questions. Okay, there are correct, we can divide all questions, correct and incorrect. Here we can see the example of incorrect questions. The most common example: when Peter stops hitting his wife. It is not correct question because Peter doesn't hit his wife. Okay, now you should ask only correct questions. Okay, next types of questions. We can divide the questions good in essence and stupid, all the questions. The example of stupid questions: who was the Russia-Japanese war between? It doesn't need to say that you should ask only good or in essence questions. The question allows us to obtain information not only about the object, but also about the respondent and questioner. The questions that allows to obtain information about a respondent I call test questions. For example, suppose the question: is this your May honey? You ask the provider of the honey, but you know that bees did not fly out of the hive in May in this year, in this 2020 awful year. Now, when the answer gives you his answer, you will know is he liar or not. You will do the test. It is test question. The question allows also to receive information about questioner. This type of questions I call identificating questions. For example, is it exactly nothing happened? When you hear this question, we can suppose that asking people know something. You can identify it. Okay, and the last but not the least, the questions that revealing poor quality information questions. The questions that allow you to reveal poor quality information. Example: are you, for instance, are you still married? Suppose you have met your friend, you have a talk about various things, and he can keep silent about his marriage, about his wife, no one word. So you suppose he gives you not complete information, and it is type of poor quality information, and you ask revealing question: are you still married? Okay. Questions could be divided on clear or unclear. If you have some variance answer on the question, so you have deal with unclear question. For example, what banks ask questions? It connects with my professional duties. But what banks? We have various types of banks. We have big or small banks. We have banks with domestic capital or foreign capital, and so on, so on. It is not clear question. But if you ask what by names, what is the names of banks that ask question in the national bank, in the central bank, for example, it's clear questions. You should call the names. Also, questions could be divided on generalized, most common, most popular generalized question, how are you, and detailed. Because answering the generalized question also is typical. Okay, I'm okay, quite well, and so on. And detailed question, have your contract renewed? It is example of detailed questions. It needs to concrete answer, detailed answer. You should give the detailed information. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, next slide. Saving and generating valuable information. Valuable information should be saved in knowledge base. There are 4 principles of knowledge base creation. The knowledge base can be on computer, smartphone, or in your head. It does not matter, because the principles are the same. First of all, the knowledge base should be saved information which has potential value. Potential value, its ability to use information in the future. When you use information to solve the problem, you are using the direct value of information. If we answer the question, is it possible using this information in the future, we will determine the potential value information. For this purpose, you need to answer the following questions. Is the problem resolved completely? Could a similar problem arise in the future? May the information be needed for other problem solving in the future? Is methodological information important? These all 4 questions to determine potential value of information. The other 3 principles are following. Information search should be carried out by using questions and generalized information. The following kinds of information should be placed in the knowledge base. Detailed information, generalized, methodological, and position information. And knowledge base should contain not only information but also meta-information. It is 4th principle. Now let us consider the methods of new valuable information creation. For better memorization, I gave figurative names, figurative names to these methods. More detailed information is on my website. First, method broom. It's using information and meta-information. Then method semina, using para-information. Methods lasso, using generalized information. And method Tamerlan, using incomplete and complete information. Let's go to the next slide. Information relationships. Information relationships between people, it's a relationship based on the information. It's a simple definition. The object of the relationships is information, but subject of the relationship I consider the following: expect, not expect, expect. The subject of relationship could be a relationship between expert and expert non expert, authority expert, specialist, and principal agent. A principal is a subject that set task to the agent. The latter fulfills the task and receives remuneration for that. I distinguish 5 types of information relationships. It's relationships of creation information, relationships of evaluation and recognition information, relationships of transmission of information, relationships of access to information, and relationships of using information for manipulation. Let's consider relationships of using information for manipulation more close. It's our last slide. Methods of manipulation with using information. We will consider both 6 methods of manipulation and 4 ways to evade an answer. Let's start with methods of manipulation. I have highlighted most important and frequently used ones. The method name is on the left side of the glove and the information used for this is on the right side. Let's consider Okay, first, keep back, hold out, using incomplete information. Second, to say a lot, not to point. You use for this, provide excessive information. To comment as needed somebody. It is used incorrect part informations. To make wrong conclusions. It is used incorrect generalized information. To cheat, to compose. It is used 2 kinds of disinformation. Fictitious information and inaccurate information. Because incomplete information we have considered before, and 4th type we also considered. Wrong generalized information. Okay. 6. Instead, trust among the lies. To mix quality and poor quality information. And 6, also highlight as the first method, become an only intermediary in transmission of information. When become only intermediary, you can use all kinds of poor quality information in order to manipulate as the people, maybe it's your boss or maybe it's your subordinate. When you intermediary in transmission of information from one people to others. Okay. Let's consider 4 ways. There are 4 ways to get out of answering the questions. I also linked it with methods, with the techniques of manipulations. First, to transfer the question to other address or postpone. Second, to provide useless information. Third, to use generalized informations. And 4th, to refuse answer. Yes, well, most common case is to say no comments. Okay, let's consider one more interesting techniques of manipulations. Using quality information for deterioration of the quality of information. Firstly, it is using a lot of detailed information. In this case, detailed information turns into excessive information. As the saying goes, the leaf is better to hide on the wood. Secondly, you can use generalized information to say nothing. For instance, the meeting took place in warm, friendly atmosphere, and etc. It is connected with one of the ways of manipulations. Okay. That's all I wanted to say you about how to work with information, how to feel information. I think it was interesting. I will know it from your comments. Only one source of information for me. In any case, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the attention.